4.3 part 2, we're continuing with dividing polynomials, but we're going to learn a different way. So the second way that we can divide polynomials is using synthetic division. So synthetic division is actually a shortcut for dividing. All right. So looking at example 2, same thing as yesterday, we can't skip any terms. So if I start with x to the third power, I need x squared. Am I missing anything? Just x. So what am I going to put here? 0x. So I'm going to draw this little box here. And inside the box, I put the coefficients of all of my terms here. So all of my coefficients. So inside the box, I have -1, 4, 0, and 9. So no x's go in the box, just the coefficients. Outside the box, we take the number from here, but we flip the sign. So change the sign. So outside the box is going to be +3. Don't put the x's anywhere until the very, very end. Now our first step. So we just set it up. First step in actually solving this out, doing the math. We drop down the first number here inside the box. So we bring that -1 to the outside. Now with numbers on the outside, we multiply. So I'm going to multiply this number each time I put a number on the outside. So what's 3 times -1? -3. So that number is going to go in the next spot here. Inside the box, we add. So what's 4 plus -3? 1. So write it right below. Then I do it again. So once I put a number on the outside, I multiply the outside. So now it's 1 times 3. 1 times 3 is 3.
So then you bring that back down.
What do I do on the inside? Add. What's 0 plus 3? 3. Once you put it on the outside, we multiply. So 3 times 3 is? 9. And what do I do on the inside? Add. So 9 plus 9 is? 18. Now, these are just the coefficients of our answer. We need the x's in there too. So if my question started with x to the third power, my answer is going to be 1 degree less than that. So my answer has to start with x to the second power. And then we just go down from there. So if I have x to the second power, the next number is going to be x. The next one is our constant, and the last number is our remainder.
Why is it x squared first?
Because it's always 1 degree less than the degree you started with.
So no matter what, it's going to be 1 degree less?
Yes. So my answer would be -x squared plus x plus 3, remainder 18. So first thing I want to check for, am I missing any terms here? No. So what's going to go inside the box?
3.
Perfect. All my coefficients. So 3, -2, 2, and -5.
So the outside's going to be -1.
Awesome. Outside, we change the sign. So outside would be -1. And then when we start, the first step is always drop down the first number. We multiply the outside. So what's -1 times 3? -3. Inside, we add. So what's -2 plus -3? -5. Outside, what do? Multiply. So that would turn into positive 5. Inside we add, we get 7. Outside, again, we're multiplying 7 times negative 1, which would be negative 7. Inside we add negative 12. So my question started with x to the third power. So what would my answer start with? X to the second, and then what's the last number? So plus 7, and then the last one's our remainder. So my answer would be 3x squared minus 5x plus 7, remainder negative 12. Good question. If this was something like we had to divide x squared plus 3x plus 2, something like this, then you have to do long division. You wouldn't be able to use synthetic division if it was like an x squared term.
So you can use synthetic division when it's only x in the original?
All right, let's take a look at the next one. Am I missing any terms? No. So what's going to go inside the box? 1, -3, -7, awesome. 1, -3, -7, and 6. What's going to go outside the box? Positive 2, because we changed the sign. What's the first step? Drop down the 1. What do I do? Multiply 1 times 2. Then I add the inside, we get negative 1. Multiply the outside, we get negative 2. Add the inside. Multiply the outside. We get negative 18, and add the inside. Negative 12. Doing it synthetic division is a lot quicker, a lot easier, but still it's possible to make mistakes. Just be super careful with your multiplication and with your adding. If I had a sign error in the very beginning, the whole rest of my problem is going to be wrong. So just be careful with your signs. So now my question started with x to the third power. So what's my answer going to start with? X to the second power. What would come next? Just x, so negative x, minus 9, and then what's last? Remainder, negative 12. So my answer would be x squared minus x minus 9, remainder, negative 12. So then my question started with x to the third power. So what does my answer start with? X squared. Then x. And the last number is the remainder. So my answer is 2x squared minus 6x plus 17, remainder, negative 58. All right, next we have the remainder theorem. So the remainder theorem helps us evaluate given a number for x. So it'll tell us x is equal to this number. One way you can evaluate is by plugging in that number, but synthetic division is also another way that we can find the value. So we're going to continue to use synthetic division, but we're using it to evaluate now, not divide. Negative 21. Multiply the outside. Positive 84. Add the inside. 97. Multiply the outside. Perfect. Negative 388. Add the inside. Negative 359. So now when it says evaluate, we write our answer a little bit differently too. So we're just evaluating when x is equal to 4, so we're not actually dividing. Our answer is just the remainder. So our answer here is negative 359. So whenever it says evaluate, if it gives you the equal to, you don't change the sign, and your answer is just the remainder. So we know another way that we could have evaluated was just take -4 and plug it into all the x's and actually solve it. So it does that on the next page where it plugs in the -4 and evaluates it, and you end up with the same answer. Synthetic division is just supposed to be a shortcut to help you evaluate. All right, last two here. For number 5, what's going to go inside the box?
4,
Awesome. 4, -10, and -21. I'm not missing any terms, so I can just put my coefficients in the box. What goes outside? Positive or negative? Positive. When it says equal to, we don't change the sign. Only change the sign if it didn't say equal to. What's the first step? Drop down the 4. Outside, we multiply. We get 20. Inside, we add 10. Outside, multiply. Inside, we add 29. So what would my answer be here?
29.
Just 29. So just the remainder is your answer. Let's look at number 6. What's going to go inside the box? So perfect. We're missing that x squared, so I have to put a 0x squared there. So like Logan said, we put 5, 2, 0, -20, and -6. So don't forget about that 0. If you skip the 0, your answer is going to be wrong. So don't forget to put that 0 there. What's going to go outside the box? 2. Since it says equal to, we don't change the sign. What's the first thing I do to solve? Drop down the 5. What do I do next? Multiply. We get 10. Add 12. Multiply. Add 24. Multiply. 48. Add 28. Multiply. 56. Add 50. So what's my answer? 50. So the remainder is the answer.